The silence was never empty. For a long time it felt like no one noticed. No applause, no recognition, just quiet effort in moments when nobody was watching. But silence does not mean absence. It often means preparation. There are people who build their strength in the background of life. They do not announce every step. They do not need the crowd to validate their direction. They simply keep moving forward. You may have wondered if the effort mattered, if the discipline, the restraint, and the patience meant anything at all. But what is built in silence carries a different kind of power, the kind that cannot be faked, rushed, or performed. A shift is beginning. Something subtle begins to change when long seasons of quiet growth reach their turning point. The same people who overlooked your efforts start noticing the results. Not because you suddenly demanded attention, but because consistency eventually becomes impossible to ignore. Quiet work accumulates. Every lesson learned in isolation becomes visible in the way you move, think, and respond. Recognition rarely arrives with noise. Sometimes it appears slowly, almost quietly, like a door opening that you did not expect. You were growing when no one was watching. Many people only value what they can immediately see. They praise visible success, but overlook invisible preparation. But the most meaningful transformations happen out of sight. Discipline is often practiced when nobody is paying attention. The nights of reflection, the moments of restraint, the decision to stay focused while others chase distractions. These moments may have felt small at the time, but they were shaping something real. Feeling different from the beginning. Some people sense early in life that they do not fully fit the patterns around them. Their thinking moves differently. Their questions go deeper. While others follow familiar paths without questioning them, these individuals feel a quiet pull to understand more. This difference can feel isolating. At times, it even feels like a burden. But often it is simply the beginning of awareness, not a flaw. The weight of being misunderstood. When someone sees the world differently, misunderstanding often follows. People may misread silence as weakness or reflection as distance. They may question your choices because your priorities do not match theirs. At times, it can feel like you are walking through life without many people truly understanding what drives you. Yet misunderstanding does not mean you are on the wrong path. The quiet discipline few people see. The strongest changes rarely happen through loud declarations. They happen through daily decisions. Choosing patience over reaction, choosing growth over comfort, choosing reflection over chaos. These choices often go unnoticed by the outside world, but internally, they build a foundation that cannot easily collapse. The world may overlook discipline at first, but eventually discipline reveals itself through results. Why silence can be powerful. Silence has a way of protecting growth. Not everything needs to be announced. When people reveal every plan too early, outside opinions often weaken their focus. But when something develops quietly, it gains strength before the world begins to judge it. Silence becomes a shield during the most important stages of transformation. Spiritual awakening often begins quietly. Awareness rarely begins with dramatic moments. It often starts with subtle realizations. You begin questioning patterns that once seemed normal. You start noticing deeper meaning behind everyday experiences. The mind becomes more observant. The heart becomes more thoughtful. This kind of awakening grows gradually, shaping the way you see the world. Moments that changed your perspective. Think about the experiences that forced you to reflect more deeply. Difficult conversations, unexpected disappointments. Moments when life did not follow the plan you imagined. These situations may have felt painful at the time, but they often carried important lessons. Many awakenings begin through challenge rather than comfort. The strength built through patience. Patience is one of the most underestimated forms of strength. Anyone can move quickly when circumstances are easy. But staying steady when progress feels slow requires a different level of discipline. Patience teaches observation, it teaches timing, it teaches self-control. And over time, it reveals the difference between impulse and wisdom. When people begin to notice, recognition rarely arrives at the beginning of the journey. It appears after the work has already been done. People start noticing the calm confidence in your voice, the clarity in your decisions. They notice the consistency that others struggle to maintain. And slowly, the same quiet effort that once seemed invisible begins to speak for itself. The truth about recognition. Recognition does not always mean praise. Sometimes it simply means people finally seeing the impact of your presence. Your perspective carries more weight in conversations. Your actions influence others without force. People begin to listen differently. Not because you demanded attention, but because your consistency earned it. Why some people try to silence growth. Whenever someone begins thinking independently, it challenges the expectations of others. Not everyone feels comfortable when someone breaks away from familiar patterns. Some people may try to dismiss your ideas or discourage your direction. Often this reaction comes from discomfort, not understanding. The courage to remain authentic. Staying authentic in a world full of pressure requires courage. There are moments when following the crowd seems easier than standing apart. But authenticity means remaining true to your values even when it is inconvenient. It means protecting your principles even when nobody is watching. Signs of inner awakening. Awareness changes how you respond to life. You begin choosing peace over unnecessary conflict, reflection over impulsive reaction. You start recognizing patterns that once went unnoticed. These signs do not make someone superior, they simply reflect growth. Learning to trust your inner compass. When awareness deepens, decisions begin to come from a calmer place. Instead of reacting to every opinion around you, you learn to pause and think. You weigh actions carefully before moving forward. This quiet confidence grows through experience and reflection. The power of restraint. Restraint is often mistaken for weakness. In reality, it is a form of control. Not every challenge requires an immediate reaction. Sometimes the strongest response is choosing not to engage in unnecessary battles. Restraint protects energy for the moments that truly matter. Your journey was never wasted. Every experience contributed to who you are becoming. Even the moments that felt like setbacks carried lessons that strengthened your understanding. Growth is rarely linear. It moves through cycles of progress and reflection. But none of those steps were meaningless. Recognition does not change your purpose. When people begin acknowledging your efforts, it can feel validating. But recognition should not become the motivation. The real purpose remains the same, continuing to grow, learn, and act with integrity. External approval comes and goes, character remains. The responsibility of awareness. Greater awareness brings responsibility. When you see more clearly, you also become more accountable for your choices. Your words carry influence. Your actions shape the environment around you. Awareness invites a deeper level of responsibility. Staying grounded while growing. Growth can sometimes create distance between who you were and who you are becoming. Staying grounded means remembering humility along the journey. No matter how much awareness increases, there is always more to learn. Humility protects wisdom from turning into arrogance. Why your silence mattered. Silence allowed you to observe more carefully. It gave you time to think before reacting. It protected your focus from unnecessary distractions. And most importantly, it allowed your actions to speak louder than your words. Your presence is being felt. Sometimes recognition does not appear through public praise. Instead, it shows in the way people seek your advice. The way your calm energy influences tense situations. The way your words carry weight when you finally choose to speak. What true strength looks like. True strength does not always appear dramatic. Often it looks like quiet discipline and thoughtful decisions. It looks like patience when circumstances are difficult. It looks like integrity when shortcuts are available. The path forward. Your journey is not ending with recognition. In many ways, it is just beginning. Awareness continues evolving. New lessons continue appearing. Every stage reveals another opportunity to grow in understanding and character. The path forward remains open. Do not abandon the quiet work. Recognition can sometimes tempt people to seek attention rather than growth. But the habits that shaped your progress must remain the same. Reflection, discipline, patience. These qualities will continue guiding you forward. You are not alone in this experience. Many people around the world are quietly walking similar paths. They are learning, reflecting, and growing without needing constant recognition. Their journeys may look different from yours, but the underlying struggle is familiar. Awareness connects people in ways that are not always visible. Your voice matters now. There comes a moment when silence transitions into purposeful expression. Not to dominate conversations, but to contribute meaningfully. Your perspective can help others reflect on their own journeys. Sometimes a single thoughtful insight can inspire change. Continue walking with intention. The most powerful step forward is continuing the work that shaped you. Keep observing, keep learning, keep refining your character. Growth is not a destination, but an ongoing process. And the quiet work still matters. Return to awakening. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on your own journey. Think about the effort you invested when nobody was paying attention. Think about the lessons that shaped your awareness. And if this message spoke to you, support the journey by liking this video, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing to Return to Awakening so more people can continue exploring these conversations together. The quiet path was preparing you. There are journeys that unfold loudly, with constant validation and attention. But there are other paths that unfold quietly, away from the spotlight. Your path may have felt slower, more isolated, even uncertain at times. Yet that quiet path was shaping something deeper within you. When people walk through life chasing recognition, they often miss the opportunity to build real understanding. But when someone grows in silence, they develop something far more lasting. What felt like delay was often preparation. You learn to stand alone. One of the hardest lessons in life is learning to stand firm without constant support from others. There were moments when your decisions did not make sense to the people around you. Moments when choosing reflection over reaction made you appear distant. But those moments taught you independence of thought. They helped you trust your own judgment rather than following pressure from the crowd. Standing alone at times does not mean isolation. It means developing inner stability. The observers were always there. Even when it seemed like no one noticed your efforts, someone was always paying attention. Not everyone announces what they see. Some people observe quietly, waiting to understand your consistency over time. True recognition often comes from those who watch patiently rather than those who react quickly. They see the discipline, they notice the patience, and eventually they recognize the pattern. Growth often looks invisible at first. When a seed is planted, nothing visible happens immediately. Days pass, sometimes weeks. From the outside, it looks like nothing is changing, but beneath the surface, roots are forming. Your journey may have followed a similar pattern. Progress was happening where nobody could see it. And once those roots become strong enough, growth becomes impossible to hide. The world often misjudges quiet people. Society tends to reward loud voices and visible confidence. Because of this, quiet individuals are sometimes underestimated. Their silence is mistaken for hesitation. Their patience is mistaken for weakness. But silence can hide deep awareness. It can reflect someone who is observing more carefully than everyone else in the room. And awareness eventually reveals itself through action. Every lesson left a mark. Think about the situations that forced you to slow down and reflect. Moments when life challenged your patience or tested your character. Each experience left a mark, shaping the way you now understand people and circumstances. Those lessons became part of the quiet strength you carry today. Your perspective began to change. As awareness deepens, the way you interpret situations begins to shift. You notice patterns in behavior that once went unnoticed. You recognize intentions behind words more clearly. Situations that once caused frustration begin to reveal deeper lessons. Your perspective becomes calmer, more thoughtful, and more balanced. Clarity replaces confusion. There was a time when certain experiences may have felt confusing or unfair. You may have questioned why certain challenges appeared at specific moments in your life. But over time, reflection begins to connect those experiences into a clearer picture. What once seemed random begins to reveal patterns of growth. Your energy feels different to others. When someone develops deeper awareness, it subtly changes the way they interact with the world. People begin noticing a certain calmness in your presence. Your reactions become more measured. Your words become more intentional. Even without explaining your journey, others begin sensing the difference. Some will be curious. As people notice changes in you, curiosity often follows. They may ask how you remain calm in difficult situations. They may wonder how you develop such clarity in your thinking. Not everyone will understand your journey fully, but some will feel inspired to reflect on their own path. Others may feel uncomfortable. While some people appreciate growth, others may feel unsettled by it. Your calmness might highlight their impatience. Your discipline might remind them of their distractions. Sometimes people react negatively not because you did something wrong, but because your growth reflects something they have not yet addressed within themselves. Understanding this helps you respond with patience rather than frustration. Wisdom comes through observation. The more you observe life carefully, the more insight you gain into human nature. You begin recognizing patterns in behavior, communication, and decision-making. This observation builds wisdom slowly, not through theory alone, but through real experiences. Wisdom grows quietly, just like the journey that shaped it. The importance of self-control. One of the most valuable strengths you developed in silence was self-control. You learned that reacting immediately is not always the best choice. Sometimes the strongest response is pausing long enough to think clearly. Self-control allows wisdom to guide action instead of emotion. Not every battle needs your attention. Awareness teaches you something important about energy. Every conflict does not deserve your response. Every criticism does not require defense. Choosing where to invest your attention becomes a form of intelligence. This understanding protects your focus from unnecessary distractions. Your focus became sharper. When someone stops chasing every external approval, their focus becomes clearer. You begin prioritizing what truly matters instead of reacting to every opinion around you. This clarity creates progress that feels more meaningful and less chaotic. Focus transforms scattered effort into intentional action. You became more patient with life. Patience is not simply waiting. It is understanding that meaningful growth takes time. The more experiences you reflect upon, the more patience begins to develop naturally. You stop expecting instant results and start appreciating gradual progress. Patience allows you to move through life with steadiness rather than urgency. Awareness changes your relationships. As you grow, your interactions with people begin to evolve. You become more selective with the energy you allow around you. Conversations become deeper and more intentional. You start valuing honesty and respect over surface-level connection. Respect begins with consistency. People may not always listen to words alone, but they pay attention to consistency. When your actions align with your values repeatedly, trust begins to form. Over time, this consistency earns a different level of respect from others. Respect that is built through action tends to last longer than respect demanded through words. Recognition is often quiet. Sometimes recognition appears in subtle ways. A person asking for your perspective, someone trusting your judgment during a difficult moment. These moments may seem small, but they reflect something meaningful. Your journey is beginning to influence others. You became stronger than you realized. There were times when you doubted your own strength. Moments when the path forward seemed uncertain. Yet you continued moving forward, step by step. Looking back now, you may realize that the strength you were searching for was already developing within you. The moment of visibility arrives. After seasons of quiet growth, there comes a moment when your efforts can no longer be ignored. The results are tangible, the impact is visible, the energy you've cultivated begins to resonate with the world. Recognition may appear subtly at first, a nod of approval, a question seeking guidance, a quiet acknowledgement. But each moment confirms that the patience, restraint, and persistence were not in vain. Your journey inspires without words. You may not realize it, but your consistent actions are inspiring others. People notice your calm confidence, your thoughtful decisions, and your ability to remain grounded under pressure. Your journey speaks without needing explanation. Every silent step you took now becomes an example for those struggling to trust their own path. Challenges strengthen your roots. Difficult moments were not meant to break you, they were meant to strengthen you. Every disappointment, setback, or misunderstanding added depth to your foundation. The stronger the root, the taller the growth that follows. What once seemed painful now becomes a source of resilience. The weight of silence becomes your advantage. Silence was never a weakness, it was a strategy. While others rushed, shouted, or sought attention, you focused on developing clarity and understanding. The world may have underestimated you, but that underestimation became your shield. And now, that quiet patience has positioned you to act with precision and confidence. Recognition brings reflection. When people begin acknowledging your efforts, it's natural to pause and reflect, to consider how far you've come and how much unseen work went into your growth. This reflection is not for vanity. It's a reminder of the discipline and intention that shaped your journey. It allows you to approach future challenges with awareness rather than reaction. The eyes that once overlooked you now see. People who doubted, dismissed, or ignored you may now pay attention. Some may even seek to understand your perspective. But their recognition does not define you. It only mirrors the impact of the growth you cultivated in silence. Power is often invisible before its time. True power rarely announces itself before it is fully formed. It moves quietly, unseen, until the moment it manifests with undeniable presence. This power is not about control over others, it's about mastery over yourself. And it is that mastery that now shapes how the world responds to you. Your influence extends beyond words. Every decision you made in quiet awareness now echoes outward. Your influence is subtle but profound, felt in how situations unfold, how people respond, and how opportunities appear. You may not hear immediate praise, but your presence leaves a lasting impression, and those who truly observe understand its depth. Silence was your teacher. In the quiet, you learned lessons that the noise of the world could never teach. Patience, resilience, observation, and discernment became second nature. These lessons shaped not only your actions but your inner strength. Recognition is simply the mirror reflecting what you already cultivated. Your story resonates with others. People who feel different, awakened, or spiritually called may now see your journey as a reflection of their own. They recognize the struggle of walking a path that often feels unseen or misunderstood. Your story becomes a beacon for those who are still growing in silence. In sharing your presence, you empower others to trust their own quiet journey. Timing was never against you. You may have wondered why recognition did not come sooner, why the world seemed unaware of your efforts. But growth and awareness have their own timing, often far beyond what we can control. When the right moment arrives, all the preparation becomes clear and undeniable. The world cannot deny consistency. Consistency is impossible to fake. It manifests through repeated actions, steady character, and calm decision-making. No matter how much others try to ignore it, true consistency always surfaces. And that is why your silent work is finally being recognized. You carry the wisdom of experience. Recognition is more than applause. It is confirmation that the wisdom you've gained matters. Every trial, reflection, and deliberate action contributed to this understanding. You now carry insight that others often spend years searching for. And that wisdom can guide not only your path, but also inspire those around you. Strength is measured differently now. Previously, strength was measured by endurance alone. Now, strength is measured by the calm, composed, and intentional presence you bring into every situation. Your influence no longer depends on loud assertion. It depends on thoughtful action. Recognition becomes inevitable when true strength is present. The moment of truth has arrived. What you built in silence is now visible. The discipline, patience, and unwavering focus have culminated in a recognition that feels both earned and inevitable. You stand not because the world elevated you, but because your growth demanded acknowledgement. And the awareness of this truth strengthens your next steps. Your presence commands attention without force. You no longer need to announce yourself. Your energy, your choices, and your calm awareness naturally draw people toward you. Recognition now follows your presence, not your words. This is the kind of acknowledgement that lasts, the kind rooted in respect and understanding. The people who understood will follow. Those who were always sensitive to your quiet strength begin to gravitate closer. They recognize the depth in your actions, the thoughtfulness in your words. Not everyone sees what you see, but the right people feel it. And their attention brings opportunities that align with your purpose. Invisible effort bears fruit. Every long hour spent learning, reflecting, and preparing now shows its value. Those sleepless nights, moments of doubt, and periods of restraint were not wasted. They cultivated a resilience that cannot be shaken. Now, the fruit of that invisible effort is clear for the world to witness. Your integrity was always your shield. In silence, you were not swayed by shortcuts, recognition, or external validation. Integrity guided your actions when no one was watching. It protected you from being distracted by temporary gains. And now, that same integrity becomes visible to those who truly matter. The journey shaped your soul. More than skills or recognition, the journey itself has transformed you. It taught humility, patience, and self-trust. It allowed you to confront shadows within yourself and emerge stronger. Recognition is only the surface. What matters is the soul that grew quietly underneath. People begin to respect the depth. Depth is not something easily recognized at first glance. It becomes evident over time through consistent, intentional choices. As people begin to see the weight of your experience, their respect shifts from curiosity to admiration. They sense that you are not driven by ego but by awareness. The right opportunities begin to align. When silent work meets the right timing, doors open almost effortlessly. People start trusting your decisions. Situations begin to unfold favorably. Your consistency attracts opportunities that resonate with your purpose. Recognition and alignment converge to create momentum. Your energy is contagious. Those around you begin reflecting your calm focus. They observe patience in action, clarity in thought, and integrity in choice. Quiet strength is contagious. It elevates the energy of any room. Recognition is amplified by the influence you radiate naturally. The inner voice becomes louder. All the time spent listening, reflecting, and observing allows your inner voice to guide you. It becomes clearer, more precise, and more confident. You no longer rely on external validation to make decisions. Recognition now feels like confirmation, not permission. Your journey inspires courage. People watching from afar may finally realize the value of perseverance. They see that quiet, consistent effort matters more than flashy displays. Your example teaches them to trust their own journey. Recognition of your work becomes a catalyst for inspiring others. Your vision expands. With recognition comes clarity of vision. You see where your growth can now lead you, beyond what was possible before. The path forward stretches wider and more purposeful than ever. You begin aligning your influence with your higher intention. The long wait was purposeful. The waiting, the unseen effort, and the silent discipline all served a purpose. Recognition is not random. It arrives when the preparation has ripened fully. The timing itself reinforces the lessons of patience and trust. Your journey validates the power of quiet persistence. The world sees what you always knew. Others may now witness the strength, wisdom, and patience you carried silently. Yet you have known all along what you were capable of. Recognition does not create your power, it simply acknowledges it. And the awareness of that truth strengthens your resolve further. The subtle power of consistency. Consistency is invisible until it cannot be ignored. Every repeated action, every daily choice, every patient effort accumulates unseen. Recognition is the inevitable outcome of consistent, intentional growth. It proves that small, quiet steps have more lasting impact than loud, temporary gestures. Your journey becomes legendary in its own way. You may not seek fame, but your journey leaves a mark. Those who pay attention will remember your discipline, patience, and calm mastery. Stories of your quiet growth ripple through unseen channels, inspiring others. Recognition is not just about you, it becomes part of a larger legacy. Your actions speak louder than words. Words can persuade, but action convinces. The recognition you receive now is not for promises or claims, it is for results. The work done in silence cannot be denied. Your actions echo the truth that others now acknowledge. The awakening is complete. Recognition is not the end. It is a milestone in your ongoing awakening. It confirms that the inner work, discipline, and patience have aligned with external reality. Your growth, once invisible, now commands respect. And this is just the beginning of the next phase of your journey.